Welcome! And today we'll dive into the confession and reactions to the post from Vanba123 titled, I have worked 16 hours a week on a 85k salary for the last 3 years. Hi, this is Derek. I just put the Drama Llama, Fred, back in his pen so that I can do this quick video for you with some of the stuff that Fred found on Reddit earlier today. Oh boy, let's get ready for some confessions. I have worked 16 hours a week on an 85k salary for the last 3 years. Title says it all. I set the expectation real low in the beginning, telling my boss it would take 2 weeks for a project to be completed, whereas it really took me probably 1 day. I'm in a highly specialized quantitative field in the private equity sector, so they never question me or my credentials. I come in the office maybe twice a week for 4 hours each time, and the rest of it I spend in my hobbies or go on road trips. I'm high-functioning autistic and purposely act super eccentric. Go barefoot around the office, avoid eye contact, speak super fast, wear shorts, blast my music all the time. So nobody tries to make small talk or try and figure out what I do. I feel like I've cracked the formula to escaping wage slavery and making the best of my short life. What are your thoughts on Vanba123's confession? Please share in the comments below. Now, let's go on to hear how some Reddit members reacted to this confession. Throwing It Way 23 reacted with, I'd penny pinch. People who think they are slick eventually always get caught. Usually the authority lets it happen for a while to gather enough evidence to come down as hard as possible. Be careful, op. Minx Manor followed up with, these private equity people read Reddit as well. Jazz Aniac chimed in with, yeah, if I was op, I would take out the walking around barefoot thing. Everything else could be any nondescript bullshit corporate job, but there's a chance some coworker of his will read this and remember that one dude who does weird poop at the office and is almost never around. The Grey Ghost followed with, or op is a genius and is describing someone they hate working with. Entropy72 reacted with, I work in tech and yeah, there's usually at least one person, probably also autistic, walking around barefoot. Not that uncommon in my experience. Slushy Reform followed up. As someone with Asperger's in the tech field, the thought of walking around my office barefoot is really unsettling. Not that my office is dirty or anything, I just personally hate being barefoot. But, to each their own I suppose. Noise Monsters chimed in with, oh, but even the cleanest office is dirty as hell. Everyone else is wearing shoes, right? The same shoes that walk all over the city and the metro? You could vacuum the office every day and the person going barefoot would still pick up a bunch of nasty on their feet. Amy Joel edged in with, you are speaking to my soul. Thank you for spreading the gospel on why floors are filthy regardless of how clean they are. I spend so much time trying to explain to people why going barefoot in public or wearing outside shoes on your home is unacceptable to me. People look at me like I'm crazy, yet it's such a basic concept. Cross-contamination. You walk in spit, poop and God knows what else when you walk the streets and then wear those shoes in your home. No way. Amy Joel then reacted with, I used to work with a bloke who came to work on his pajamas and slippers. Why? Because he was good at his job and corporate didn't care what he wore as long as he kept putting out solid results. He stunk pretty bad though. Phew, Amy Joel, wouldn't want to be working at your office. You know, at least on the farm here I can just open a barn window and let in some fresh country air when I need to. Browski Bullet reacted with, happened to me in February. I learned that if you are truly content and comfortable, prepare for crash landing at all times. Amy Joel came back with, this is why I function better during times of hardship. When life's going good it scares me. I'm an anxious wreck waiting for shit to go bad again. It's pretty effed up. Throwaway 39,908,992 followed up with, I do too, but I don't think it's effed up at all. When things are going well, I worry about what can go wrong. When things are going poorly, I feel comfortable knowing the other shoe has dropped. This is my life philosophy and I'm not changing it. Be skeptical in prosperity and optimistic in adversity. The year following 9/11 was one of the best years of my life. I took chances and risks that really paid off because I thought I was going to die in a terrorist attack anyway. This mindset also has left me pretty well prepared to weather the economic downturn that we are having. CRISPR 699 and reacted with. More importantly, people in VC and P make a poop ton more than $85,000. If you're doing one day of work and your employer is happy, you better believe they are using that work to make a lot more than they are paying you. I'm in the VC world and have paid marketing folk, lawyers, and consultants that much for a month or less engagement. Op could probably be making 10x if they took on more risk and set up a consulting business. All good if you're happy, but capitalists capitalize. You'd be fired if your work wasn't worth more than your salary. And Zero Just Average chimed in with. This $85,000 in the P world is not very much. Could just be a rounding error on his own boss's P&L. iFish reacted with. I wouldn't worry about getting caught in this case. It's possible that the bosses are making so much money that paying this guy $85K for 16 hours a week is still worth it. G0 Atrul chimed in with. Agreed, I doubt the bosses even care, as long as the work gets done and there's notable forward progress. Higher ups sometimes really don't know how long things take. As for the acting like a weirdo thing, I think it's genius. Sparky Zell reacted with. If he had a job where he had to clock in and just left, then yeah. But a lot of times salaried positions can almost not care about time as long as there's no problems hitting deadlines. Better to have a happy employee that F's off but still turns in quality work on time, than a pissed off employee at the office always late and dragging down office morale. Snozafok reacted with. But worst scenario, you just lose your job. Most companies won't go out of their way to slander a former employee, if it's bad enough to be in the media. God be with you. There's a lot of reasons for this, but immediately whoever hired you won't want to say this person was just widely incompetent or lazy because that reflects badly on them. Unless you do something monumentally stupid, this kind of stuff would likely be swept under the rug. He could easily be dismissed for whatever reason and slide into a similar role at another comparable organization without too much problems. Vanba123 responded with. Time theft. Lol. I spend my days making my boss and the shareholders rich. I'm not gonna clock in and sit for 40 hours as a good wagey. Drunkaholic reacted with. Milk it as long as you can. But as an IT guy, everything you're doing is being tracked. All it takes is someone up high to say they want your traffic logs. To clarify, 99% of IT guys don't care what you're doing. We're too busy dealing with poop. The only way we get involved is if your boss, or higher, send a note to the IT director/VP for tracking. By the time it gets to us, HR is already involved. Drunkaholic also followed up with. Yes, there are trackers that log idle time. There are also mouse movement and key loggers you can use for logs, but I've yet to see a company go this far. The farthest I've seen is login/logout, idle time and browser history. I still can't believe how many people use a company's web browser and Wi-Fi to watch YouTube, ESPN, go shopping, etc. Team Naked chimed in with. Yeah, the problem is if they let someone go for this, morale immediately plummets in the office. Workers realizing they're being tracked at this level is a great way to commit culture suicide. We had one company announce it, only to rescind shortly thereafter after people started disabling the tracking on their laptops and productivity took a dive. The exception is getting rid of someone who truly isn't performing. Then maybe. But frankly, either they're doing their job or they're not. One doesn't need this kind of tech to determine which. Handy Andy 944 reacted with. I hope you are making hay while the sun shines. 'Cause that gig ain't gonna last forever. Dudes Abiding reacted with. Man, I dated a girl who was in the exact same situation. Made around $90K/year, working for a contractor for the federal gov, and did absolutely nothing. It was literally like Office Space. In a given week, she did maybe 15 minutes of real work. Now, to give credit, she was definitely overqualified for the position, and she had the sense to do all she could to justify the salary. But there was only so much she could do before there wasn't even any work to fake. Her uncle got her the job and I kinda hated her for it. Hassa who racked it with. So basically you're Christian Bale in The Big Short? Ha, I was thinking the same thing. This story seems eerily familiar. But let's not forget that art imitates life. Man of Many Farts reacted with. My first reaction to reading this was, EFF this guy. I bust my ass 60 hours a week to make less than half of that. What my reaction should have been was, F business owners for exploiting the labor of their employees, and F this system that necessitates owners to underpay said employees to turn a profit. Good for you for exploiting the man. Hope you get a raise soon. Datley reacted with, I was like, good for this guy. Until the barefoot comment. That's gross as F. And, up there with loogie clearer, and finger and toenail cutter in public. EFF this guy. Mi cumpleaños es hoy reacted with. Dude, honestly same here. Although I'm not as ballin' as you're, this is the reason why I managed to be where I am now. Most clients love my work, but find me eccentric enough that I don't have to do face-to-face most time. Client A would recommend Client B to seek for my service with words of advice, she's a bit eccentric but she's alright. Rifkinator reacted with, is this Kevin? Ha 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 ha, that cracks me up. Well, there you have it. A very spirited conversation around this confession from a bunch of fine and caring citizens. Help support this channel by smashing the like and subscribe buttons. And hit that silly little bell as well to ensure you get the latest videos. Fred is always finding stuff for me to post regularly. So this is Derek signing off, thanks for watching. Good grief, it sounds like Fred is out of his pen again. He must have found more confessions for me to share with you. See you soon.